Alright guys, so sitting in this box here, we have the Asics Novablast 4. Now on top of the box is the Gel Nimbus 26. And if you've been following this channel, you might have noticed that this is the only Asics shoe that I've covered in the past year. I really liked it for up to 250 miles. Then the foam kind of gave out on me, but that's not why I don't cover Asics. I actually had a whole diatribe and explanation planned for why I don't buy Asics shoes, but then Charlie told me not to give it to you and just say I'd rather buy shoes from brands who I believe support the running community and add value. So with that, you guys requested this shoe. It's probably the most requested running shoe of all time on this channel. So I had no choice but to buy it, get it in-house, and tell you whether it's worth it in a super competitive segment right now. This $140 daily trainer segment is no joke. You got the Saucony Ride, you got shoes like the Adidas Supernova Rise here, you got the Puma Velocity Nitro 3 at $135, you got shoes like the New Balance Rebel V3 for $140. So this shoe is gonna have to play with some serious heavy hitters here, and it is gonna have to wow me to get my vote this year. So with that, let's take a look. Boom. Boom, boom, boom. Asics Novablast 4. That is a clean colorway. So here it is, the highly anticipated Asics Novablast 4 in this beautiful turquoise colorway. This is an awesome colorway, and then it's got this lime green rubber on the bottom just to pop. Now the first thing I'm noticing about this guy is the midsole. It is a lot firmer to the touch than I expected, and this is FF Blast Plus, which is Asics main training foam right now, and it's similar to what they have in this Asics Gel Nimbus 25 here, but this is a little bit of a softer feel. It'll be interesting to see how this compares. I know that this is supposed to be a little bit of a firmer shoe. Now, holding it in hand, looking at it, it is a lot of shoe. That is what is sticking out to me here. It's wide, it's tall, it's chunky. Everything about it is maxed out. Look around the back here. You got lots of padding. You got 41.5 millimeters of stack. And this has got to be one of the widest 4 foots. This has got to be one of the widest 4-foot landing platforms that I have ever seen on a daily trainer. Now, my favorite shoe that I've run in so far this year has been the New Balance Rebel V4. And if we compare these guys side by side, look at how much more stack you're getting in the Asics Novablast 4 here. And yes, they are pushing the foam up the sidewalls a little bit, the raised sidewall look. But you can just see, comparing these guys like this, the extra 10 millimeters of foam in the back is noticeable, and holding these in hand, the Novablast just feels a lot chunkier. Everything about this shoe is just out of control. Yeah, guys, look at the backs of these things. Novablast is chunky, man. Now, it has a lot of padding around the back too. I know I mentioned that, but compared to this Rebel, which is more of a lightweight daily trainer, lightweight tempo shoe, it is super padded. Even comparing it to another shoe that it might go up against more directly, the Puma Velocity Nitro 3, you can see how much more we got going on in the Asics Novablast 4 here. So this FF Blast Plus is an EVA blend. Asics does not disclose exactly what goes into it, but the idea with this shoe is to be bouncy, it's to provide cushioning for everyday miles. It's not supposed to be a super fast shoe, but it is supposed to be a durable one that you can reach for day after day. And so because of that, we do see a thick layer of rubber out here. I love to see that on a training shoe. We got a little bit of exposed foam out here in the back, so it'll be interesting to see how that goes, but this isn't typically an area where we get a lot of wear. Now, another interesting thing about the bottom here is they call this the trampoline landing platform. It is inspired by the Asics Superblast, and you can see in the center here we have a groove, a cutout, and then around the top here, same thing, these are cutouts. This is something that New Balance does in their shoes as well. Their plated shoes, they have the energy arc, and so this is supposed to add a little bit more of stability when you land out here in the back. Now, we do see a nice little rocker up front here. It's actually a little bit more noticeable in person as I'm looking at it than it is on camera, but it is a nice rolling rocker here. And then on the back, we do got that caboose. So this should be super good for heel strikers. I'm a little bit wary of it though. I am curious to see how this is gonna do for faster running. Now, this is not a workout shoe, but with this tall stack of foam and the trampoline platform, they are positioning it as a shoe that can do some faster miles. So it'll be interesting to see if this heel chunk gets in the way for faster running, or if it provides a cushioned but speedy platform. Now we got a normal lacing system, which is super nice. The tongue is decently lightweight. It's actually not that padded, and I keep going back to how much padding is around the back here. It is blowing my mind how much padding they added to the shoe. It is pretty similar to the Gel Nimbus. Let's take a look at this here. I think it might even have more padding than the Gel Nimbus, which is just wild because this guy here is supposed to be a max cushion shoe. The Novablast is up against the same stack height as the Nimbus and has as much padding. So this is raising a question for me of where do these tall stack shoes fit in the market? And specifically with this one, is it going to be an everyday running shoe like the Puma Velocity Nitro 3? Is it going to be a speedy shoe like we see in the Rebel, but of course more protective because it has this taller stack of foam? Or is it going to be something that blends a little bit of everything like the Adidas Supernova Rise, but this one is more comfort oriented with this Dream Strike foam that we have in here. Now, the Asics Novablast does have an 8mm drop, so 41.5 in the back here, 33.5 in the forefoot. This is something we've been talking about a lot recently, how much stack you get in the forefoot, and with above 30 in the forefoot here, this should provide a very protective ride, and with the 8mm drop should make this a pretty friendly ride for a lot of different mechanics. So the upper itself is a pretty standard engineered mesh. We will do a fit and feel comparison here in a second. I'm super curious to see how this does weight-wise compared to the others due to this massive stack of foam. So let's pop this on the scale and do a little comparison. All right, guys, right shoe, Novablast 4, coming in at 282 grams. Left shoe, Novablast 4, coming in at 282 grams. Now the Adidas Supernova Rise, 299 grams. Gel Nimbus 25 here, 308. So this is a little bit heavier, maybe a little bit more of a built up upper, even though we see so much padding on the Novablast 4. Maybe a little bit more foam too in this chunky bulbous heel. And then Puma Velocity Nitro 3, this is coming in at 289. So Novablast 4, despite this massive stack of foam, is actually lighter than the Puma Velocity Nitro 3. And that is crazy. They must have worked some sort of magic with this FF Blast Plus. And that is going to be a question for me. How many miles can we get out of this FF Blast Plus? Because for me in the Gel Nimbus, it really went limp at around 250. So I'll be curious to see once we get this up to 100, 200. I'm sure the outsole is going to be going strong, but how is the foam going to do? All right, guys, I'm going to pop these on for a fit and feel test, and then we got to make it to bed because we got an early wake-up call tomorrow for a first run in these. Alrighty, fit and feel analysis. Down the inside of these, they have the carbon footprint. That is so corny. I'm sorry. I cannot get behind the greenwashing that these brands do, man. Anyway, step and feel, left foot. This is a little snug. This is a little snug for sure. So I ran in the Audios Pro 3 earlier today. So that was the last point of reference I have. And this feels a little bit snugger. Now granted, I am wearing my Nike Dry Fit socks just in case anybody needs to get dunked on. But these are probably a little bit thicker than my typical socks. But it still feels like I don't have as much room. Yeah, my toe goes all the way up to almost the end of the toe box in my normal size. You can see we do get that pinky toe poking out, and then I am right jammed up against the side here. Now let's put the right one on here. And you know what, guys? I think this might be a good time for that lace tying tutorial that you've been asking about. So let's do it quickly. Alright, so what you want to do is make sure you get nice, evenly distributed laces. So same side. You cross them over as you normally would, and then with the left one, you want to get a nice loop here. And so same thing as you normally would, you just tie them together. And this is where it starts to get tricky though. You got your two long loops, and what you need to do is, if you didn't see, you want to make sure that you get these loops as big as possible and these tips of your laces as small as possible. So once that's done, you take the left one and you double it in, okay? See, that's the key here. You fold it in half. And while you're doing that, you just hold the right one in your hand. You double this, you fold this one in half, and you go under, look at this, guys. You go under the loop with your right one and around and push it through. Let's see if we can get a little closer for that. All right, look, you go. Boom, you cross them,
You go under, and then the key is taking this and making the hole. So you make a circle with both of them, and then you push that guy through. And that's what gets you those two beautifully symmetrical laces. No flop. It's the patented Supwell no flop method. Now, for the shoes themselves, guys, there is a lot of foam here. And looking down at the tops of my feet, I might need to grab this. Yeah, looking down at the tops of my feet here, look at how much foam is flaring out here. I'm wondering if when I'm running along, I'm going to be hitting the inside of my leg with this foam because it is just so chunky out here in the forefoot. This has got to be this has got to be the widest forefoot I've ever seen on a running shoe. This is a shoe that I have close by. Let's take this one, for example. And just look at the difference. You're not seeing that foam flaring out to the side. This is the New Balance SC Trainer V2 here. You're not seeing the foam flare out to the side like that at all. And even something like the New Balance 1080 V13, this is a nice, wide, comfortable shoe. Again, not seeing the foam flare out at all. So this should be extremely stable for a neutral shoe. And underfoot, guys, this foam is very firm. Now, I have a feeling this might be good for faster running because of how firm this foam feels. And just walking around the office a little bit here, it is not a super flexible shoe, but it is decently comfortable. My heel feels locked down in here pretty nice. And the overall fit and vibe of the upper is comfortable, although it is a bit snug. Yeah, just snug all around here. Snug, snug, snug. So, all right, guys, we got a first run in the morning here. It is 10:24. I got to finish my second dinner, and then I'll see you bright and early. We gonna hit the treadmill in the morning. Let's go. 5:06 a.m. Game time.
All right, guys, it's 5:26 a.m. We just pulled up to the gym here, and the plan for this morning is to get 10 to 12 miles in the Novablast 4. Now, as a daily trainer, this thing should be able to do any type of run that you throw at it, whether it's a treadmill run, a long run, a double day, a light workout. And so we're going to be testing it with some time on feet this morning. This run should take about 90 minutes. And with this massive stack of foam, I should feel pretty protected. Now, the last few runs I did on the treadmill here, I used the New Balance 880 and then the Puma DV8 Nitro 2. This has more stack than even the Puma DV8 Nitro 2 and should be a little more fun to run in than the New Balance 880. Now, I typically prefer a lower stack daily trainer than this. Rebel V4 was amazing for me, and I really hope I can get some more miles in that soon, but we are testing a bunch of stuff right now. So it's going to be interesting to see where this fits in the rotation for me and whether or not I even get along with it for daily miles, because this is a lot of foam. I can sometimes get that fighting against the foam feeling, but it is a little bit. So we will pop in there. It's 5:28 now. I burned 2 minutes talking. I'm going to try to be efficient this morning, get in there, get our 10 to 12, pop out, and then we'll do a post-run analysis.
Yeah, so just coming from my Cloud Monsters here, these are definitely a little bit snugger. I don't mind it, and I'm wearing the Features. Let's see what we got. Yeah, look, I'm wearing the Features light cushion socks today, so these are probably a little bit thinner than those Nike Dry Fit socks, just in case I had to dunk on someone last night. But yeah, this is a nice, comfortable fit. It is snug. It's not going to be like a New Balance where you get a little bit more room up there. Though the 880 was pretty snug too. And man, this is a pure white upper. I think they call this color mint or something. It is very bright. I don't know how this guy's gonna do when I take it to the greenway. It is gonna get destroyed. Maybe this will be treadmill running only shoe. I really don't like dirty shoes. All right, guys, let's do it.
Alright guys, quick bathroom break, but a few things I'm noticing. Definitely on the firmer side, definitely encourages a faster cadence, faster foot strike, and it feels good when I'm putting some force into it, and it's also a very protective shoe. So we gotta get some more miles and then I'll report back.
Alright guys, just finished. We got to recalibrate. We got 10 miles. What did it have us at today? Today it had us at 10.63. It's not too bad. Oh no, wait. That's not even right. We did 12 miles. Oops. Alright. I'll have to fix that on my phone. Alright, there we go. 12 miles. Average 138 heart rate. 726 pace. That felt good. Now for the shoes, man. Yo, guys, they're always playing the weirdest music in here. I don't know what Pandora station it is, but it just gives me weird vibes. But I was listening to my playlist. Let me know in the comments if you want to hear my 90-minute upbeat rap playlist, and I'll drop it. Anyway, the shoes, man, I was expecting to hate these. I think I was kind of hoping I would hate these. I was hoping they'd be bad, so I didn't have to talk nice about Asics. But alas, they were not bad. They were actually pretty great, so I'm going to have to say some good things about Asics. Against my will. This is why I didn't want to buy Asics, because I know they make nice shoes, and I don't want to have to say good things about them.
Hey guys, before we leave here, I have to show you something hilarious. They've banned deadlifting. Just the entire exercise. No deadlifting. I don't know why they have it in quotes like that, but no deadlifting. Please! Double slammer. Thank you. I mean, I guess, I don't know, do they even have a... Oh, they don't even have a bar. Oh, yeah, they do. They got these bars here. I'm guessing they don't want people slamming the weights on the ground. And that's what it is, more than something against deadlifting in particular. But that is hilarious. Wow, they got multiple signs. They really have a vendetta against deadlifting. No deadlifting, please. Thank you. Yo, this summer we're going to get jacked, though. And number 3, just in case you forgot, deadlifting is actually one of my favorite exercises. People ask me how to strengthen your hips and lower legs as a runner. Compound movements is the best way. Heavy squats, heavy deadlifts. That's how you do it. All right, guys, we got to get back home to these kiddos, figure out how to do this analysis.
Can you guys hear this music? I'm telling you, it is a weird vibe. Alright guys, we are going to drive home and do this analysis live. I got my eyes on the road, but you can keep your eyes on the Novablast 4 here. So we hit 12 miles at about a 7:30 pace. That felt really good, man. I've been clipping off a lot of slower miles on the treadmill recently, so it felt good to be back in the normal aerobic range for me, which is, I don't know, 7:20, 7:15 to 7:45. That's where I feel best running my daily miles, even down to 7 flat. But when I'm doing so much volume, it's a little bit hard to run there all the time, so I'm closer to 8. Anyway, this Novablast 4 was a really good shoe for that. I think 90 minutes, this is probably the perfect shoe for that time, for that distance that I did this morning. It's smooth, it's comfortable, it's got a nice slight bounce to it, and it's got a lot of cushion, but it's not super soft. And I might have to call up Elizabeth Warren again, actually, because look at this, guys. FF Blast Plus. But this is not the same FF Blast Plus or FF Blast Plus Eco. I don't care if they call it Eco. You can call it Eco or whatever. But this is not the same compound that's in the Gel Nimbus. That is a super soft, squishy compound. This is a more firm, structured, got a little bit of a pep to it. And this is, guys, this really bugs me about these brands. Please stop calling foams the same name if they're two different things. Now, in this case, I'm not as angry as I was about the New Balance, because the fresh foam that's in the 880 versus the 1080,
those are two completely different ones, and the 880 foam is bad. There's no other way to say it. I don't like saying that. There's a lot of great shoes on the market. The foam in the 880 is not a good foam. It's firm, but it doesn't provide any bounce. When you run fast, it completely goes flat. This is not a bad foam. This is a really good foam. This is probably one of the best training foams I've tried in a while for everyday miles. And now it is an EVA based foam, but I had a commenter who watched one of my super old videos I did, or super old being last year, but about the differences between different types of foams. EVA, which is this guy, versus something like a TPU, which is that Saucony Power Run Plus, it's in the Triumph, versus a Zoom X Puma. And he said, dude, there's basically no foam on the market today that's straight EVA. They're all blended with different polymers. And so when we say something is primarily EVA or a primary EVA blend, there's going to be a bunch of different things that go into this. And there's also going to be a different manufacturing process for something like this versus something like the fresh foam that give it two completely different feels. So with this EVA blend foam here, it is a little bit firmer, but it provides a nice bounce to it, and not a soft cushion, but a supportive, protective cushion. And sometimes with firmer foams, like what's in that Saucony Endorphin Shift 3 or Adidas Audi Zero SL, I know for a lot of you guys out there, you find them to be too firm. That was not the case with this. It's definitely not going to be too firm for you guys, but it is going to provide a ton of protection. And so I know we talk a lot on the channel about shoes that are good for bigger runners, that are good for taller runners. For me, at 6'2" and 160, this is almost the perfect shoe for being on my feet for a long time without going super fast. Now, there's no plate in here. It doesn't need a plate. This is an everyday running shoe. It's not a fast workout shoe. Asics has the Magic Speed and the Superblast for that. But with the way that the foam feels, it has a nice degree of protection and bounce, so that at that 90-minute mark, I still felt great. And around 4 or 5 miles in, right when Nicki Minaj's verse came in on Monster on my 90-minute upbeat rap playlist, I felt like I could just keep going for 3 to 4 hours in the shoe. And I think this is going to be a really nice shoe for a half marathon for some people out there who want an everyday running shoe that they can do all their miles in and then do their first race. If they want something with a little bit more protection, maybe they are a heavier runner or don't have a huge experience with running, this would be a great shoe for that. Now, me personally, I don't love always running with this much stack. I mean, just look at this thing. 41.5 millimeters in the heel of a daily trainer. That's the direction the market is going right now. More stack, more protection, more comfort. I don't mind it. My legs feel great after running 90 minutes. I actually dropped down to about marathon pace and finished fast in that run and was feeling good. But I also sometimes like running with a little bit more ground feel and feeling a little bit more like I'm in control of the shoe, like the shoe isn't doing the work of running for me. And sometimes with all this stack that we're getting in the Novablast 4, it could feel a little bit like the shoe is doing the work of running. So if I'm thinking about what I've enjoyed running most in recently, we got the Rebel V4. That is a great shoe. That's still my daily trainer of the year, and I'm going to do a head-to-head comparison with this. But these are two completely different sides of the coin, right? And they do share some similarities, like the wider base of this, and the wider base made this a really nice, stable option. Out in the back here, you'll see that we actually got a little bit of a skinnier platform, and the forefoot is where we see a gigantic landing pad, and it was nice to land up here and get some bounce when I was doing more mid to forefoot striking. But the Rebels also got this nice stable platform, but that with the 30 millimeters in the heel and about 24 up in the forefoot, that had a little bit more ground feel. It also had a little bit more of a flexible feel. This is not a flexible shoe at all. If you see me trying to bend it here, you're not going to have any control of it with your foot. You're not going to be strengthening your foot muscles or lower leg muscles really running in this. This is all about protection and comfort with some ability to pick up the pace here and there. And now when I did drop down into that marathon pace range, it didn't feel awesome. It didn't feel like my favorite shoe for that. I would much prefer the Rebel V4 or even, I don't know if I could even say this, but probably the Saucony Endorphin Speed 4, even though I didn't like that shoe. But that shoes like that, the Rebel is lighter, easier to turn over the legs in. Saucony Endorphin Speed 4, that's going to have a bit more natural bounce to it from the Power Run PB and the plastic plate. This isn't the fastest feeling foam in the world. It does have a slight pep to it from how it is a little bit firmer, and you can't have a soft foam be 41 millimeters and have any ability to turn over the legs. It's like trying to run a 5K PR in the Gel Nimbus. That sounds terrible. So this is a bit of a faster shoe than the Gel Nimbus, but definitely not a workout shoe. Right now, what I'm getting first run, it's all about that comfort for daily miles though. It's not gonna be the most comfortable shoe like a 1080 or a Nimbus, and protection. Very protective shoe. I feel great having fresh legs in here, and I'm just pulling up in the driveway right now. Let's get I can get the little backup camera action going for you. We did this last time. So I'm thinking I'm gonna try to get another 8 miles in this afternoon, maybe with the stroller, maybe not. So I'm likely gonna get in another run in the shoe, and my hope is that I can do another analysis after we get the full 20 miles, because this is a shoe where it's about that protection, it's about that comfort, and so this is a shoe where it should do well with some high mileage, or at least we should test it with some high mileage. Look at that. Bang. Another great parking job. All right, guys. I will see you later for some more miles. All right, guys, it is 12:45. Just finished up lunch here. Well, we're finishing it up. Charlie made some fire pasta, and I spent all morning playing outside, actually, with the kids in these on Cloud Monsters. And this prompted me to bring out a bunch of these shoes here and have a little bit of a discussion before we do our double later today on what a daily trainer is, because we have so many different categories of these shoes in the market right now, and the one that the Novablast is presenting is this higher stack, very protective feel. And I know there's going to be a lot of you guys out there who say 41.5 millimeters in the heel is way too high for a daily trainer. And I got some flack for calling the Rebel up there. It's very dark, low contrast, but that's the New Balance Rebel right there. I got some flack for calling that a minimal shoe. I understand some of you guys running barefoot shoes, born to run, all that. Rebel's probably not minimal to you, but this is a very tall daily trainer, and it's presenting a decently lightweight option, but still a lot of protection. And so as we're thinking about the other shoes out there and what this category offers, this is not a nimble shoe. And that's the number one thing that I've been thinking about with these daily trainers. I like something that, if I'm going to recommend it to a lot of people as a daily trainer, it needs to work for running, yes, but it also needs to work for all the other demands of everyday life, because I know a lot of you guys out there are going to want to buy one shoe for daily trainer and also use it for errands, for groceries. A shoe like the Cloud Monster is great for that. Another shoe that's great for that, that's in this more traditional daily trainer category, is the Nike Pegasus. This is 10 millimeter drop, and we got low to mid 30s in the heel here. You can just looking at these stacks, you can see the Novablast is much beefier, much more robust. Now, there's another type of a daily trainer, or a shoe that a lot of people use as a daily trainer, these max cushion shoes. Now, the Triumph is one of the best examples of it. This guy has 350 miles. You can see I've chewed through the outsole here in my highest wear area, but the foam is still in really good shape. This is a nice, a little bit soft, but super bouncy. I've taken this to multiple 20-mile long runs, and it's an absolute beast. It just cranks and crushes through any type of work you put it through. And so even this is 37, and it feels like a tall shoe. This guy is 41.5. Now, if we compare the bottoms of these platforms here, I mean, it's not even close. The Novablast has got a lot wider of a base out here in the back. And so with these shoes being shoes that we might want to use for all the demands of everyday life, I think this might be a little too much shoe for some people if you want a shoe that can do running as well as errands, as well as walking the dog and playing with the kids. Something like the Cloud Monster or the Pegasus might be a little bit better for that. Now, if you want something that's super protective and bouncy, if you like the Triumph, then I think the Novablast 4 might be a nice upgrade if you want something a little bit more stable, but also given that nice protective, slightly bouncy feel that we got from the Triumph 20 and 21. Now, the final shoe I want to bring out here is the Hoka Mach 5. This is a shoe that is pretty lightweight. I love the nice soft rolling sensation that we get from this, and it's more rockered. It does a little bit better for faster efforts than at least what I'm getting from the Novablast 4 here initially. But again, a shoe like this is going to be a little bit better for using for walking around and everyday stuff, though not as protective as the Novablast 4 here. So there are lots of good everyday running options on the market. Basically for every type of runner here, you got something different. This is light and fast. This is extremely protective. This is fashionable. This is protective and bouncy. And this is just the standard guy. So with that protective feel, this is going to be a choice for you guys who maybe you're running higher mileage, or you want something that can do recovery work, everyday runs. Probably not the grocery getter here, but so far it seems like it's going to be absolute tank for those daily miles. All right, guys, I'm going to finish up my lunch here, try to get ahead on some editing so we can do another first run double day tomorrow. Perhaps we'll see. And then I'll see you guys a little bit for the second run. All right, guys, I'll see you in a bit. All right, guys, pre-run snack. We got the jam comparison. Shout out to best jam ever from the Matthews Farmers Market. This is the raspberry smoked maple on this side. On the other corner here, we got the raspberry blood orange. So one bite, everybody knows the rules. We're going to do a comparison. What? I'm just nerdy. That's what I'm about to do next. I need to cleanse my palate. All right, blood orange. A little bit of savory that you get from the raspberry smoked maple is fire, but then that tang from the blood orange, that can't be beat. This is definitely more of that daily trainer. This is like a non-plated, lightweight tempo shoe. This is like the Topo Cyclone 2. You're not going to rock with it every day. When you want a little bit of spice, that's going to be nice. Daily driver, this is the winner. This is what I could smash every day. Raspberry blood orange. Just hot sauce? Shout out Harris Teeter. Man, we got the Novablast on in the grocery store. I kind of feel like one of those people wearing Alpha Flies to Disney. It's got that chonky heel feel. But it's just super weird. This is not the vibe that you want for walking. Brooks Coast Max is still the best walking shoe I've found. All right, guys, Harris Teeter Novablast 4 review. Kind of a weird shoe to walk in. Not my favorite. Probably never going to take this on errands again. I think the new rule might be if we got above 40 millimeters in the stack here, it's not going to be a good shoe to walk in. Top pick is still Ghost Max. Rebel V3 was also a nicer, lighter weight shoe to walk in. That one felt like it completely conformed to my foot and was one with my foot. With this guy, it feels like I'm walking on top of a wooden plank or something. Like I have, I don't know, 2 couches tied to the bottom of my feet, and I'm trying to walk on top of couch cushions or something. Super weird feeling, but comfortable running shoe, not going to be a good walking shoe. All right, double run time. We got the groceries for the dinner tonight. A little bit of Frank's hot tofu, Nashville hot tofu action. It's going to be fire. But we got to get this double run in at home. All right, guys, 3:51 p.m. Time for the second run. We're going to take Reevesy boy out on the stroller, so it will be a good test how these guys do with a little bit more force, needing to press down a little bit more. I like something typically a little bit lower stack for stroller running, but because this is a 20-mile double day, having a little bit more protection might be nice. So we're going to go get this guy some Cheerios, and then I'll strap these on, and we will hit the road for this double. All right, guys, so I'm right on top of the chalk here. The plan for this stroller run is a nice 8 miles. So we'll cap at 20 for the day. We got the first 12 on the tread, and then this 8 here is going to be in a very hilly neighborhood with the strollers. So that's a nice thing about doing the treadmill in the morning, and then when I do the stroller runs in the afternoon, it's completely different. It's a nice variation because treadmill, I'll just leave it on flat. People ask me if I do the incline or go faster to simulate road running. No, I like it to be flat, nice and easy on the treadmill because we get tons of elevation gain out here. And somebody said that 1,000 feet of you know what, I'm not even going to dignify those comments, but we get a lot of elevation gain out here in the burbs of Charlotte and Mint Hill. So it's a pretty good way to build leg strength, build lower leg strength, build upper leg strength. It's the second best way after squats and deadlifts, after lifting heavy. So I guess third best way
after first squat, second deadlift to build leg strength is hill running. And if you can do it with a stroller, man, that's even better. So all right, guys. I realized I had the mic backwards for that whole thing, so it was quite muffled probably. But we're going to go out, pull up with the REI High Waters, and I got the REI Gilet on, but go out for the stroller 8-miler, and then we'll be back soon.
Now, before we fully hit the road here, somebody asked me how I get the kids situated in the stroller for running. So we just got Reevesy Boy today in the double. Mace is a little bit too big to go on this side now, but we'll have JR in here soon when she's probably 6 months old. But he's usually pretty good. If he's a little bit finicky, like today, bribe him with the Cheerios. And then we got the backup bag of Cheerios here. So I know he's going to hit me with the more once this is done. And then I'll see how long I can hold out. And if it's an absolute disaster at mile, 5, 6, or 7 of this 8-miler, that's when he doesn't even know. We got this on deck. We got the, quarter cup of these O's on deck. So that thing was full too. And he's just been pounding them. It's only been about 5 minutes since we left. So Cheerios are huge. Make sure they're strapped in nice and tight. Get a blanket for the winter time. They're probably going to kick the shoes off if they're a shoe kicker offer like he is. So we're not even messing with the shoes today because we're going around the neighborhood here. There's no park to stop at or anything. So those are the keys. And then, of course, get them with the warm jacket. Then we'll be good to go. All right, guys. See you back here for the post-run wrap in a few. All right, guys, we just finished a smooth 8.2 miles with the stroller at an 8:17 pace, 1 hour, 7 minutes, and 53 seconds. And look at that. We just got back, and he's just finishing up. He didn't even crush them all. We didn't even have to do our emergency ones. Good job, Reevesy. How you doing in there, buddy? Okay. He's just eating. Now, I'm glad I did the double to get varied terrain with these. Not because they were bad, but it did expose some differences in how these perform on the treadmill versus out here. In treadmill, I typically prefer a firmer shoe. USPS got some swag.
You stay here?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool.
Thank you. We got another Asics, guys. What do you think it is? Also, who knew? Asics America, they're based in Mississippi. I would not have thought that. Yeah, bye-bye, USPS. Let's see, what's the damage? We didn't get too much dirt on these, which is nice. Still a clean looking colorway. Alright, quick analysis and then it's gonna be dinner time, guys. Alright guys, 20 miles in the Asics Novablast 4 on the day, 12 on the treadmill, 8 with Reevesy Boy in the stroller, and I gotta say, guys, this is a fantastic shoe. I told you earlier, it's protective, it's got a nice bounce to it, it's not too soft and squishy like you would expect with a 41.5 millimeter shoe, and it feels like you can pick up the pace a little bit. This trampoline, whatever they're calling this, I'm not even gonna call it a gimmick, but whatever they're calling this setup they did down here, it really does work. Now, like I told you as I was unlacing these, there are few things that are exposed to me a little bit different running out here on the roads with this shoe, with the hill and the stroller versus the treadmill. Now, the first is this is a firm shoe. On the treadmill, you get a little bit more bounce. It's a bit of a softer surface. Out here on the asphalt, that's gonna tell you whether a shoe is firm or not. However, I am starting to see some light creasing around here, and I do suspect that this might break in a little bit and soften up. Yeah, if you look on the inside here, you can see a little bit of creasing on the midsole. So I do think that this will soften up. When I do my 100-mile review, and we'll do some comparisons and some other running with this shoe throughout the next week or so, I'll let you know how it feels, but definitely a firmer shoe. If you see that FF Blast Plus and you're expecting a Nimbus, that's not how it's gonna feel. That brings me to my second point on the shoe, and one of the main drawbacks I have, it's around the marketing of this. Every company out there, they say soft, cushioned, energizing. And that's why I'm here. That's why I want to make this channel, so I can tell you what these shoes feel like without all of the marketing business. And the fact that they're calling this foam FF Blast Plus, this really gets on my nerve, guys. I think I'm gonna start a petition. I might have to call up Elizabeth Warren. I might have to have Charlie call up her old boss. You know, Charlie's first boss, her first job ever was working for Robbie Kaplan. You do not wanna mess with that woman. If you don't know who she is, you better look her up because she can do some serious damage. So we're gonna call up Elizabeth, we're gonna call up Robbie, and we're gonna start a petition against Asics, against New Balance, all these brands who wanna call different compounds the same name. If the foam has a different feel, you gotta give it a different name because it is misleading to consumers. I'm not even gonna go down this path because I already did in the 880 double run day video I did. If you wanna hear me go off on that, I guess just rewind and watch the last 30 seconds or watch that 880 video. So this is a nice foam, but it's not what you're getting in the Nimbus, and they should call it a different name. Now, the third thing about this shoe that I learned this afternoon that I didn't know this morning was the disconnected heel and forefoot feeling. We got it in the Speed 4 and we have it in here. So when I say disconnected, what that means is if you land out on the heel or even close to the midfoot, you get a jarring snap or slap down on the front. It doesn't feel smooth like you're rolling through the stride. The smoothest shoe that I have in my rotation is the New Balance SC Trainer. When you land on the heel, it's a nice gentle roll forward. With this shoe, with the Speed 4, and another shoe that has it is the Alpha Fly, when you land in the middle or the back, you don't get a gentle roll forward, you get a jarring knock down to the ground, and then you get that roll, that pop forward. So an easy way to fix it is go ahead and take a look at the geometry of a rockered shoe. And I have my Hoka Aura Lux slide here, so this is what we're gonna use because the SC Trainer's inside. But look at the rear of the shoe here. We have a nice gentle curve here, and then it's flat, and then we see a nice gentle curve in the front. The difference with this shoe is, yes, we get that curve here, but we also get an little upward slope here. I have no idea why they do that. Just make the shoe flat the whole way and then curved up. So that's something they could fix easily. I would say just make the bottom a little bit flatter. Don't do this weird taper in the middle. Don't do this weird slight upward thing, because what that means is you land here, you roll forward to this little upward point here, and then there's a convex area in the midsole that forces you to slap down right here at about the 55th percentile part of the 55% up from the back to the front is where you slam down. So it's a little bit of a weird feeling. They could correct it if they change the geometry. It's not corrected here, but that is something they could work on. It's interesting because in the Nimbus, I'm gonna put my Aura Lux slide back on. The Nimbus does not have that feeling at all. Now, the last drawback on the shoe was for walking. This is not a great walking shoe because of that exact thing that I'm talking about, the weird heel and then slamming down. It feels okay when you're running. It feels nice when you're running fast. The foam is great, but for a walking shoe, you want a little bit more of that natural geometry. Again, like my Hoka Aura Lux slide, something with that nice roll, or just a flat, simple shoe like the Nike Pegasus. And so that's what the Gel Cumulus is gonna be for. That's a little bit of a lower stack than this. That's gonna have a more natural feeling for walking around, for going to the gym, for doing errands, for getting groceries. So that's not really what the Novablast is for. This guy is for high mileage, and this is gonna be an excellent high mileage shoe, guys. 20 miles today, and I feel great. This is probably one of the best high mileage daily trainers that I've tested in a while, right up there with the Vomero, with the 1080. This is a lot firmer, a little bit of a higher stack than those two, but a really quality shoe. So if you have watched this far, let me know all your questions about the Novablast. Let me know what you want to see this compared to first. We got the Speed 4, we got the Rebel V4, we got the, I don't know, you guys know everything that I have. Also, guess what's in that Asics America box we just got through? I will see you tomorrow for another first run review. We're gonna keep cranking, we're gonna keep rocking and rolling. I told you a few days ago, we're in a reloading period and we're not gonna stop anytime soon. I will see you guys tomorrow.